From Universal Studios in Hollywood, California, it's Home and Family. Today on the show, A.P.B. actor Ernie Hudson, plus Bachelorette and fashion blogger Ellie Fedotowsky.
Brighten up your day, the Home and Family way.
Also here with us today, Orly Shanny.
You guys, we are deep into winter, and you know what that means. You've got a bunch of these little knit gloves lying around. Well, I'm going to show you how to turn them into a picture-perfect pair.
Oh, Orly, you are always picture-perfect for us. And in our kitchen, Lulu Powers.
I'm going to show you how to turn this incredibly scrumptious dessert with a seasonal twist and how to make it into a gift.
Ooh, that looks so good. Also with us, Paige Hemis.
All that wrapping paper you had for Christmas, it's probably all over the house and you can't find it. Well, I love wrapping and I love wrapping presents, and today I'm going to show you how to make a DIY wrapping paper, a whole little station that'll keep it organized.
Nice. Wonderful. Well, welcome to Home and Family. It is Monday. Kim Douglas is sitting in. Debbie has got the day off.
Yes.
It's nice to have you
Kimmy!
here.
Orly, my girl.
Very happy you're here. I'm very sad that my voice is going,
I know.
so I won't be able to take as many jabs at you today as I would normally do on a normal day.
There is a God.
No, I'm glad that you're getting
I
a chance to sit in.
know.
and we'll
It's
get the-
fun to be
Yeah, we're
here
gonna play.
with
We'll
our
have a good time.
fam and Ernie. We're
Yeah.
going to have a great time. And you know, if I'm sitting here, we're going to have a lot of fun too.
Wow.
So later in the show, buckle your seatbelts because here's another first. I'm going to be going into the kitchen. Yes, I am. You know this, Ernie? Seriously.
Did you
this
bring a
one-
compass?
I did
You were
not.
able to find it, right?
I am going to show you how to sprinkle little bits of love in all of your cooking. From, look at this, carrots, oh yeah, tomatoes, and even bacon.
Bacon.
Yes.
What are you
even
trying to
bacon.
do? You trying to
In a
sweeten me
pizza.
up with bacon?
I am. I'm going to try to get you on my side. By the end of the show, you just might be.
Look at that. Oh, that's fantastic.
Isn't that
And
great?
those little pepperonis
I
as well.
know. So, you know, for Valentine's Day this year, since Hunter loves pizza, he's in college, you guys, and literally he lives on pizza because that's all we can afford because we're paying his tuition. So I made those little, like, you know, heart-shaped pepperonis to put on the pizza so he can have those.
I'm sure that's going to go over well with the guys in his fraternity.
Yeah.
Look what my
might be
mommy
bullied.
made.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Got to give him a little room, okay?
no.
Give him a little bit of room. You know our first guest, he's back, you know him from Ghostbusters, and he's currently starring in the new police drama. It's called A.P.B. Ernie Hudson, so glad that you're here. Thank you.
So good to have you.
Congratulations, first of all, on the show.
Thank you. Yeah,
Whatnot. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk a little bit more about this, but I am so jazzed about your motivational speaking.
Yes.
I think having an opportunity to reach out to youth in the way that you do and so many others
important.
with a strong message is so important.
Well, I think it's important for, not just for them, but for me as well, to kind of get out of Hollywood, to go around the country, and to get a real sense of what's going on with people, and to hopefully be an example of possibilities.
That's true. That's true. Good. I'm going to talk a little bit about your message as well when we get a
Absolutely.
chance to sit down here and talk in a second.
Yeah, I can't wait for that, Ernie. And we're kind of from the same hometown, so we have a
Yes.
lot in common. Well, switching gears a little bit, here with affordable date night fashions is former Bachelorette turned blogger Ellie Fedotowsky.
Hi, Allie.
I'm clapping for myself. I'm all about affordable fashion.
Yeah.
So I feel like when people are getting ready for dates, they don't know, like, do I have something sexy? Is it too sexy? Is it not sexy enough? So I'm going to show you stuff like date night looks to going out for a date in the park and fun fashion like this. Like, I love wearing like tutus and having fun with fashion. So we're going to do some of that today.
Cute.
I love that, the mixing and matching.
Yeah. Wear a tutu, have fun. They're not just for toddlers. They're for women too.
I thought you were going to say they're not just for women anymore.
No.
Okay, he's a comedian. He's a comedian. He's the host of the new Food Network show. It's called Ginormous Food. Please welcome Josh Denny. Good to have you.
Josh, you travel around the world and you just show us the most ginormous foods. Tell us a little bit about what you're going to do today.
Well, today, one of my favorite foods that we've eaten on the show so far is a 14-pound bagel called the Whale.
Oh.
What?
Yeah. from Spread Bagelry in Philadelphia, and today I'm going to show you how to eat it.
Are you serious? 14 pounds.
14 pounds.
Is it like one for like a
Josh.
whole family? It's not like a
Yeah, it can
Like
be.
a
Okay.
long.
It's big.
yeah, like a long big.
So you're going to show us how to eat. Do we have to unhinge the jaw?
It helps.
That we can.
It helps if you do that.
Okay, we're gonna work on.
Well, and there's a technique to eating that in all kinds of ginormous foods. so-
Okay. We're gonna get to
We're
that. So the Super Bowl is over. It's come and gone, but you
Yeah.
probably bought a flat screen because they all go on sale. And if you haven't noticed, flat screens lately, they're going to smaller and smaller edge to them because you want more screen. But I've come up with a really affordable way that you can put that frame back on and make it blend really nicely into your. There it is. Look at there we are hanging on the wall in the other room. Look at.
Hi, Mom.
Hey, we're on TV. Look at that. We're on TV.
Wait, but I know, I love that. We're on Hallmark. You know what? You said it was easy. Do you
Yes,
really
and
mean
affordable.
easy? Like, could people do it that don't do it?
Well, okay. Let's begin. When you say people,
People
like
that
you,
maybe,
or just people?
Listen, you know, I was a carpenter's daughter, so I bet I can do it. Do you think I can do it?
You can do it. Actually,
All right.
actually, it takes a knife, a real sharp blade,
Okay.
and some super glue, and some styrofoam. That's it.
We can do that.
It's really
right,
simple. I'm going to show you
Ernie?
how to do it. It's
All right.
wonderful. So,
Sounds good.
So look, we hope you had a chance to catch. Speaking of big games, the cuteness of the Kitten Bowl 4 that just happened over the weekend, and I'm happy to say that the Home and Family Felines defended our title. We won last year. We won this year.
Crazy.
I just have to put our claws out for that.
These one-liners, you just have no idea. But even bigger news than that
What?
is that the cuteness continues, Mark, because this April, we watch our cuddly kittens compete in a basketball game everyone's talking about. You know what it's called?
What's that?
Meow Madness.
Oh, is that off a spin-off of March Madness?
No, it's just Meow Madness.
Oh,
That's what it
okay.
is. Yep.
Wonderful. Well, meow, meow, meow.
Kim's like, what?
So, Ernie, enough with the puns and whatnot. So,
Yeah.
we're gonna, A.P.B is something so many people are familiar with. The letters A.P.B. All
Right.
points bulletin. I
Right.
know that much.
Right, right.
I don't know what that means after that. What does
Well-
an all points bulletin mean to a police officer?
Well, I think, and I'm not a policeman, but I think it's a person of interest that all points are. We're looking, a high
Right.
intense search.
Sure,
for
sure.
someone, and so A.P.B. On our show is about taking everything that's available to focus on a different way of policing.
Got it. Got it.
Bringing in technology and a lot of things that police departments normally can't afford. We have a billionaire who takes over our division, and he's a brilliant entrepreneur.
Sure.
And so he brings his genius in to deal with crime and deal with community relations. And
Right.
A lot of things that we're facing with now, this show addresses.
Sure.
Yeah, it's so timely. And I did talk a little bit earlier about how you and I are from Michigan, but this show takes place in Chicago.
It takes place in Chicago.
So how does the storyline transform the Chicago Police Department?
Well, I don't know if it transforms the police department, but obviously Chicago is one of those places where everyone knows about
That's for
the
sure.
murder capital of the world.
Yeah.
Detroit used to
Remember?
be many years
I
ago.
know.
So we know there are some serious problems. We also know that we're in a time when people recognize that we have to bring about some changes.
Yeah.
The show doesn't use technology that's not available, some made up technique, but all of the things that we use are things that are available now. And because of budget constraints,
Yeah.
and we tend to be heavy-handed. We think the way to be more effective is to be heavier-handed, as opposed to maybe there's another approach.
More of it.
And so this is taking a different approach at it.
But you play Captain Conrad in this, right?
Yes, yes.
And Captain Conrad isn't so familiar with some of the technology that
No.
that is available out there.
Yes.
He's a
Yeah.
little bit trying to absorb it, right?
He's a little bit like me. Yeah, I'm the old guy, and I'm confused. Actually, in real life, I have a laptop that they told me I should change the password. I did. I haven't been able to open it. I'm that bad. So
Well,
he's
let's-
trying.
Let's take a look at
We
the
wanna
show.
see
This
you.
is you trying to get used to, and your precinct trying to get used to all the technology.
Yeah.
Take a look.
I ran a regression analysis on the Hatcher sightings over the last 6 hours, and as you can see, we have been getting stuff, but a lot of it is just garbage, people seeing shadows.
We could up our patrol. I'm not sure we have the manpower.
Hang on. Can I borrow this? So, pull everything that fits in a random distribution, because garbage would be evenly distributed, right? But like real sightings would come in tighter clusters.
Okay, this is 4 hours ago.
There. Okay.
3.
Yep.
Now 2. And half an hour ago.
All right. So he's moving. We can work with that.
What did you just do, girl?
It's just a filtering algorithm.
Confused look on your face.
I know.
That final shot's like, what?
Yeah, I work a lot. You know, yeah. It's, the older I get, the more confused. Like,
But you know, as much as that is about really understanding it, I know it's based off of, like you said, Chicago.
Right.
Chicago is a violent area, and that really hit close for you with a recent tragedy for you.
Well, the character I play in the show lives in the neighborhood that's least served and that has the most problems. So he's been there. He's been with the police department for 40 years, but on the other hand, he's seen his own neighborhood deteriorate.
Sure.
And so when this guy comes in with all these new ideas, there's a lot of resistance. And he's skeptical, but he also knows we need something. We need to do something. And so he's at a very, very different place. I was, while we were shooting the show, I had a cousin who was shot and killed. And it's interesting because as we move away from those communities, the problems affect all of us.
Yeah.
And so suddenly there's a funeral that I'm nervous about even going to because I don't really know what the circumstances are. So so the show, you know, just takes a different tack. I mean, there are things we can do now with apps that we weren't able to do 20 years ago. So, but we're still operating from that old paradigm.
But oh, you want to?
Well, Mark and I were talking earlier about your motivational speaking and how you kind of took that with your cousin who passed away and the show that you're doing, but you've turned it into something positive and you're going into the communities like Detroit, like Chicago, and speaking from your heart. Tell us how you do that and what that's all about.
Well, I think one of the results of the civil rights and integration is that when the opportunity came for a lot of people to move out of certain neighborhoods, everybody who had the ability moved away, and the ones who were left behind were the ones who were least able to manage a community. And so I think that was a result of, and that the crime went war and on and on and on.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, after a couple of generations, you're afraid to go back to the neighborhood that your parents grew up in.
Right.
And so I think it's important for people, especially people of color, to go back home. I'm not going to move and sell my house to move back, but I think I can go back and support those people who are still there, who are trying to bring about change.
And what do you tell them? What's your message?
Ultimately, you know, my mom died when I was 3 months old. I never knew my dad. And it was very important, my grandmother raised me, that it was very important for her to explain to me that we are human beings, that we are human, and that's kind of ruled by, in her mind, fear, but we're also beings, we're spirit. And it's the spirit where everything comes from. It's a spirit that is eternal and it doesn't change, but it's personal. So you can turn to spirit that you're greater than.
Yeah.
And so, you know, my thing is to remind people that don't lose faith in looking at around and at circumstances, because you're greater than your circumstances.
Sure.
All that changes, but you don't change.
But were your circumstances filled with anger when you were younger?
Yeah, I think sometimes to explain things, you got to blame it on somebody until you reach a point where you can accept the condition yourself. And you can also recognize that because I'm struggling here, the other person I'm talking to, he's also struggling and interpreting it in his way.
Yeah.
So he's expressing it from his perspective.
Yeah.
And there are other choices to make other choices.
Yeah.
And we see it all the time. I was coming through Mexico City. I was shooting a film in Durango, and it was time to board the first class, and I had a first class ticket. But the guy was calling people forward, but when I got there, he pushed me away and he said, "No, not you." And I said, "But," and he kept doing it, and he was very angry about something, and I held the ticket up in front of him, and finally he looked at me and he got very aggressive, and And I knew something was happening with him, so I hugged him. And he just started crying. He just started crying. I think sometimes when we really want someone to reach past all that
Sure.
and see us for who we are.
Sure.
Yeah, you disarmed him.
The tragic, I know your cousin it was an unexpected.
She was getting out of a car, and the guy was standing on the corner where she was getting out. She had just had a 2-month-old baby, and shots rang out, and it hit her, not the guy.
Yeah.
And her life was just taken. 22 years old.
And the baby?
The baby is with her sister.
Okay.
And that happened in Chicago.
Happened in Chicago, yeah.
So what's God, you look at it and you just say nothing makes sense.
Yeah. No.
And you want to go back to that anger. I mean, this is somebody that was part of your family.
Sure.
Did it change your message? Did it motivate you even more to go, you know what, I'm going to book even more motivational speaking engagements for me to get out there, because that's what we need the most right now, is that voice of reason?
Yeah, I hope so. I'm not sure if it changed things, but it just made me more aware of the real need, not just in Chicago, but the world in general, of reasonable people who can see each other.
Yeah.
Did your grandmother have any influence regarding that? Because I saw she was holding a Bible.
Yes, yeah. She was very religious. I'm not a religious person, I have to admit. But she also saw us as the thing, when we say the pursuit of happiness and we're all created equal, that's in spirit. In spirit, we're all children of God.
Absolutely.
On a human level, we're all different, bigger, smaller, richer, poor, and all of that.
Right.
But what we want to do is see past that and see who.
Is that the final takeaway? Is that what, is there a message? I know I'm dropping this on you, but is there a message we should always keep in the forefront of our mind every day as we get up and write in our gratitude journal or whatnot?
Well, my grandmother said, when I was trying to, because I didn't know my father, never met my father, had a hard time with that when I was about 4 or 5. And she sat me down and she said, baby, God is your father. And I'm like,
yeah.
She said, no, Mama, God is everybody's father. And she said, yeah, but everybody don't know it. And she said, a lot of people who don't know who they are, and you have to be patient with them. But I'm telling you so that you will always know who you are. And the good news is, because God is everybody's father, nobody is better than you are, because we're all his children. The bad news is you know better than anybody else.
Thank you, Ernie, so much. Up next.
Guys,
Orly.
from life-changing advice to some fun gloves. Come on back, I'm showing you adorable picture-perfect gloves.